So this is sort of the base default experience using BuyButton.js. So as you can see, I've got no HTML, no CSS. This is just JavaScript initialization. And all I've got here is my BuyButton.js script. So as you can tell, I'll just right off the bat, initializing and making one method call here, we've got a lot more on our screen already. So there's a lot less work to do to just sort of get what you want, what you would basically want if you want to let someone buy things. So I'm just going to take a look at the code that I've already got here. So the initial code here is exactly the same as in JavaScript BuySDK. I just literally copied and pasted this. And then we initialize the UI library, so passing in our client that we just created. And then the main method that you're going to call is called createComponent. And createComponent takes one argument as a string, which is just the type of component that you want to create. So other values might be collection, cart. And then for product or collection embeds, you pass it an ID. And so that's the same as for JS BuySDK, where we grab the ID from our admin from the product ID. So this gives us a couple things. So once we've created a product component, just by default, we get this product embed, which has an image. You can select a variant, select variants for different options. It gives us this little cart toggle that tells you how many items are in your cart, and it gives you this cart embed. So this is sort of your basic shopping cart, dynamic price down there, and sort of your basic default e-commerce experience with checkout. So this is sort of what we were trying to create in the previous example, except that everything's kind of been created for us. So I can start to customize the appearance of this embed using a big options object. So after the ID, the next key that I can pass is called options, and there are a whole lot of things that we can put in here. So because createComponent created actually several elements on the screen, so we've got this product, we've got this little tab, we've got the cart itself, we have to specify which we're going to customize. So I want to customize the product, so I say product. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to customize some of the default options here. So one thing I can do is I can change the button from adding something directly to the cart. I can change it so that instead it opens up a modal window with more information. So I've got a button destination property, and I can set that to modal. So now I have this nice little modal, which has a bit more information, has a quantity button. If you wanted to, say, hide your variant selectors here and then show them in the modal, that might be an easy way to save space. I'm going to turn that off, though, because that's not what I want here. And another easy way to change the appearance is to change the layout. So right now I've got the default layout, which is the vertical layout. I'm going to change that to horizontal. So now I've got my picture on the left. And now I'm going to add the product description. So each component has a contents object, which lets me just pass through true or false for the elements that I want to show in my embed. So I'm going to say description, true. And now my description shows up after my button here. So it looks like a lot of sort of random keys that are just in my memory, but you don't have to have that all memorized. Of course, we have documentation linked from the repo, and there's a customization section that should list all of the various options for your embeds.
Awesome. We have another question from Sam Cooper. Sam asks, how would you go about passing information into the cart? For example, if a user is sending flowers to a funeral home, how might the delivery address be pre-filled with this info?
So things that customize the actual checkout process, so shipping address, shipping details, customer information, can't be modified from the JS BuySDK because it's only a storefront library. Right now, we don't have an accessible API to modify the cart and the checkout, but that is being built at the moment by one of our backend teams. So I'm not sure what the timeline is on that, but eventually in the future, we should be able to programmatically manage that kind of information, but not at the moment.
Awesome, thank you.
So I'm just going to go on and add a couple more basic customizations here. So another thing we can do is we can update the styles of this using our styles object. So instead of using regular CSS, because this is in an iframe, we can't just pass in a regular, add regular CSS to the page because it gets blocked off at the level of the iframe. So we have to pass it in specifically. So I can make this styles object, and then I can pass through a key for each part of the embed that I want to style. So one of them is button. So I say button. And then the keys and values for this are going to be exactly the same as in CSS. So I can say background, color, navy. And I can say border, radius, make this nice and round, say 30 pixels. So now I've got my nice round button. If I wanted to change the color of this toggle to match that, I have to add a different configuration object for the toggle. So right now this is all affecting the product embed. So now I'm going to add one for the toggle. And this is just going to be the same thing, styles, and it's the toggle itself. And I'm just going to copy this. And now we have our nice navy cart here.